Darrin Van Horn, who began his professional career in 1984 at the age of 16. He was actually underage his first pro fight. He won a second-round knockout in New Orleans. And there is Lou Duva, who has joined the corner of Darrin Van Horn. Being checked over by referee Randy Newman as the crowd awaits the entrance of the IBF junior middleweight champion, Robert Bam Bam Hines. Darrin Van Horn round decision over the solid favorite and previously unbeaten Matthew Hilton. Hines, a decisive underdog, won despite being knocked to the canvas in rounds 2 and 3. He's undefeated his last 7 bouts, and that dates back to a 10-round draw in July of 1985 with James Hard Rock Green. So both Hines and Van Horn in the ring, back with the fight in a moment. Tail of the tape shows balanced numbers. Hines and Van Horn at 5'11", 153 pounds, but the Fight Doctor RX tells us a different tale. How do you see it first from the viewpoint of Van Horn?
Well, I think Van Horn has to force an early punch out in order to take advantage of Hines, who starts out very slow, and then once he gets him in trouble, Van Horn, and then all of a sudden surprise him with sudden punch out capability and try to take him right out of there.
First, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the royal blue trunks with gold trim, he weighs 153 1/4 pounds from Lexington, Kentucky. Undefeated as a professional with 38 consecutive victories, 24 by KO. Ladies and gentlemen, the number 2 challenger in the world, Darrin "Schoolboy" Van Horn. And fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the white trunks with blue letters, he weighs an even 153 pounds from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. As a professional, 24 1-2, 16 by KO. Ladies and gentlemen, the IBF junior middleweight champion of the world, Robert Bam Bam Hines.
And the referee, Randy Newman, bringing the 2 boxers together. The judges, Rocky Castellani, Harry Merritt.
Number 2 things. Number 1,
Chuck Giampi.
defend yourselves at all times. Number 2, obey my command. Shake hands and come out of the bell.
Castellani of New Jersey, Merritt of Indiana, and Giampi of Las Vegas. The 10-point must system, the basis of the scoring. The 3 judges score the fight. 3 knockdown rule not in effect. No standing 8 count. The bell cannot save a fighter at any time. For the IBF Junior Middleweight Championship, the WBA Junior Middleweight champ is Julian Jackson. The WBC Junior Middleweight crowd holder is Donald Curry.
Both men starting out very fast. Hines not giving motion and not trying to confuse Van Horn, but just trying to get him in position for a hard shot.
And Van Horn said he's not concerned about going up against the southpaw. He has fought them before. Hines with different thoughts on that matter.
Comes back, guys. Get your ass. Get out of there. Let's stop right here. Don't hit the knife. Let's go.
Warning by Newman, and that warning was for holding the arm of Hines in a clinch. He doesn't want any holding and hitting. Those men very tight right now. Very tight. They have not loosened up yet.
Well, critics of Van Horn, who just landed that short right hand, say that his style is to hit him in his knuckles with his nose. At times he does fight with his face, taking too many unnecessary hits, in particular in the early rounds, although Van Horn does have a good chin.
He must have a good chin. He fought 38 fights, and he survived them all. He likes to get hit in his first round. He says he wants to see what the other guy's got.
Yeah.
Not a wonderfully wise thing when you're facing hard punches.
And this the first title defense for Robert Hines, who had a sensational amateur career. Two-time Philadelphia Golden Gloves champion, the National AAU and Pan American Trials runner-up in 1979. Turned pro in March of '81. And Hines getting into the head of Van Horn.
After Van Horn landed a series of very hard punches to the body, two south of the border, very low. Surprised he didn't get a warning for that. Right now, a game plan is not emerging from either man. They just seemed content to stand in front of each other, punching with both hands.
Half-minute left in this first round. It is slated for 12.
Much more action on the part of Van Horn, whose adrenaline must really be flowing. A first championship match.
And we have come to the end of round one. This the traditional Darrin Van Horn pre-fight warm-up, a self-inflicted facial. Pounds himself to get ready. Darrin, a student, as you know, at the University of Kentucky. He majors in broadcast journalism. Further, his goal to become the voice of Bud Bowl 2.
Right now, his corner is happy with the effects of that first round. He might just have taken that first round. He's more active. He's going on adrenaline right now. The expected difficulty in the corner did not turn up, as Luva had few words to say of encouragement, and mainly Hedgeman Lewis talked very calmly to Van Horn, giving him instructions to go under and over. He outspeeding him is Darrin Van Horn, outspeeding the champion Robert Hines right now.
Minute gone by, second round. Van Horn in the blue, Hines in the white. Robert Hines has finally reached a decent financial plateau until he had received $125,000 for that bout against Matthew Hilton. He had never made more than $7,500 for any fight, and today his best payday, although the figures were not released. Combination by Van Horn did not do much damage.
Van Horn right now is doing the fighting. Hines is doing the reacting. That's that cold Robert Hines that we saw when he fought Hilton for the title. He just doesn't do anything the first 2 or 3 rounds, and sometimes takes a shellacking while he's doing it.
Hines said that had no effect with Van Horn getting that combination in. Hines, not an aggressor or a slugger, although Matthew Hilton might not agree, because after the slow start, he did come on.
And again, the other side of that is he came on because Hilton just slowed down to a walk and ran out of gas. And I would not look for Darrin Van Horn. This young man has been up on a mountain training for 10 weeks to run out of gas in this fight.
Van Horn, as you see, a stand-up style fighter, has an effective jab, goes with the left hook. Even against the southpaw.
Right now, outspeeding and outslicking Hines at every exchange.
The question coming into today concerning Van Horn, the quality of the opposition that he has faced in comparison to Robert Hines. That is it for round 2. Good start for the challenger, Darrin Van Horn, and it appeared that his corner satisfied with what he's done over the first 2 rounds.
Hedgeman's only admonition, Hedgeman Lewis, who is his chief trainer and brain in the corner, says get off with a jab, but back him up. As long as he's going back, you're building up points.
Hedgeman Lewis working with Van Horn on changing him from a 2 or 3 punch fighter to a 6 to 8 punch fighter, and concentrating on proper balance and technique. And we have seen a more effective Darrin Van Horn, at least over the first 2 rounds.
First 2 rounds, it looks like a new Darrin Van Horn. He's not losing his head. He's boxing much better, but of course, we're just starting. We haven't gotten into a punch-out yet, and we haven't gotten into Robert Hines being warmed up and behind on points, comes storming back. So it's a long fight. Got a long way to go.
Doubling up with the left hand and then throwing the right.
Beautiful, beautiful move, and he gave him a nice motion when he did it. So those are the points that you build up. Hines missing badly. Those are points against you. After a slow and close first round, which I gave to Van Horn has been speeding up and out-slicking Hines. I gave him the second round easily.
Let him go. Stop punching. Get out of there.
Minute 15 left. This is round 3. Edgman Lewis, the main man in the corner of Darrin Van Horn. Lou Duva has been added to the staff, flying in from Las Vegas, taking the red eye after being in the corner of Mark Breland last night.
Not looking sharp at all. He is looking slow and rusty. I just don't understand how he's let this kid come out and just pummel him, outspeed him, outslick him. He is a slow starter, but this is like he's stepping in molasses.
And Van Horn doing a nice job giving Hines no angles and then able to land the right hand.
That was a perfect example of speed and youth. He was cornered, and he got the best of the exchange. Did Van Horn. He got in 3 popping punches while Hines waited to get started.
Another good round for the 20-year-old Darrin Van Horn. That was the bell that ended round 3, and when we went away, that is what occurred. Some extracurricular activity. Things heated up, and now this is round 4. 27-year-old Robert Hines, a native of Philadelphia, record of 24-1, 2 draws, 16 knockouts. The IBF junior middleweight champion has not been able to get going to this point against the challenger, 20-year-old Darrin Van Horn from Lexington, Kentucky.
Darrin's been doing something since the first round. He missed a sweeping right hook. He must have pulled something in his shoulder. He keeps reaching back to his shoulders if something's bothering him back there. He's been doing this for 3 rounds, although it doesn't seem to affect his punching because he's punching with both hands with impunity.
Referee Randy Newman reacting to that low blow. Van Horn comes in at 38-0, 24 by knockout.
Right now, all we're seeing over these first 3 rounds is the difference in speed and use of reflexes. Van Horn seems to be razor sharp, and Hines seems to be crawling in some kind of mud. I mean, he certainly heard it from the corner. When he went back, they said, "You've blown 3 rounds. You better get started." So we should see some action from Hines shortly.
Van Horn came into this fight very confident. He said that Daylight has a better chance of getting by the Rooster than Robert Hines has of getting past me. And Van Horn is usually not a cocky type boxer going into fights. And this is after he looked at the tape of the Hines victory for the championship over Matthew Hilton.
Watch how quickly Van Horn reacts when he gets hit. He gets crazy when he gets hit. As soon as he gets hit, he has to trigger off 2 or 3 punches, and he got hit hard by Hines. A couple of good shots by Hines.
And a strong, short right hand delivered by Van Horn. Able to follow up. That right hand continues to get in.
This fight so far, all in Hines' this round so far in Hines' advantage in that he wants to get Van Horn in a punch-out. He wants to make him quit running around and outspeeding him.
Throw his arm